Welcome back to Guns and Gear Network, everyone. Appreciate you tuning in. Today's topic is storing food with prepping. And I've done a couple videos already, one about water, storing water, having a water source, all those things. And then I did one recently on some beans and rice that I was actually packaging up for long-term storage that I had recently bought and was just trying to get things stored up. And a few questions came up either in the comment section or private messages asking me a little bit about food and food storage and what to buy and things like that. One of the questions that came up, and it's a legitimate question, the person asked about beans and rice, and they said, well, what about water if you need water to cook those? And I agree, and one of the things I told him to go back and look through my videos and find the one I talked about water. You got to have a water source. You can live a lot longer without food than you can water. So water is top priority, period. Then, your food. So you need some ideas of how you're going to keep water, at all times. And that's going to be, up to you and your area. Maybe you live in an apartment, maybe you live in the city, maybe you live in the country, maybe you have a pond on your farm, maybe, whatever the case may be. It's going to be different for everybody, and I can't, you're going to have a plan for you. One of the things he asked was about the bob, which is the water bladder that goes in your tub, and I told him to go back to the video. I talk about that too. So anyway, with that said, some things you need to store beyond beans and rice is other foods such as canned foods, dry foods, like pasta mixes, things like that, dry soups, what have you. Another question that comes up quite a bit is MREs, that either civilian or military meals ready to eat. And if you notice, I have a case of those up here on the table, and I do use those and I do store them. I just don't want to see people go out and spend a ton of money on those. They're okay at best. I think they serve a purpose, and here's my idea of where they serve my purpose. If I'm hunkered down in my house and we're trying to secure a neighborhood and we need to pass off meals to guys doing security for us and things like that, or I'm doing security, I can put one in a pack, a couple of them in a pack, and go out and go and work security for the day and have something to eat that's handy and it's easy. It's all in one package. I don't have to worry about starting fires. I don't need water, things like that to cook it. So they do serve a purpose. They're used in disaster relief and things like that. So yes, they're fine. They're just expensive, and so keep that in mind. There's other foods you can store. With that said, you can actually, if you look here, you can actually make something similar to an MRE yourself. Now this package in particular has a lot you can eat without water and cooking, but it does have some things that you'll need water and be able to cook it. And I just simply took one of the food vacuum sealers, and I made some packs of this. This has a soup mix, it has some mashed potatoes, it actually has one of those Spam single serves, it has some ramen noodles, peanut butter, beef jerky, there's some freeze-dried bananas, or dehydrated bananas, there's some drink mix, I think that's a strawberry drink mix, and it's actually one of the energy drink mixes. And there's some other things in here. I'm pretty sure I stuck candies in these, like the little small hard candies, things like that, and I just vacuum sealed it up. So you can do things similar to this if you wanted to be able to pass off, or to your family or friends or whatever, to give them something. And this right here should store for quite a bit, quite a long time. Some other things that you want to consider that's very reasonable in price is things like this. This right here, the pasta sides. This one happens to be smokehouse bacon parmesan. Here is a thing of mashed potatoes. Be careful when you're buying these. Make sure that it says water only. Look on the package. Sometimes they'll ask for milk and things like that you may not have on hand. But yeah, these type pasta ones, the breads, you may want to look at cornbread. That's easy to make. If you notice, just add water or milk. So that right there can just add water and make it, and you can do those. Obviously, we all know about ramen noodles. Those are long term. And then you've got some of your canned goods. Your sardines, your tunas, your Spam or treat, which is basically the same thing. Back there's a 1 pound thing of cooked ham. It's already got water added. It's already pre-cooked. Everything, just slice and eat it. Some vegetables. I think that happens to be a sauerkraut I just grabbed. One of the things the guys mentioned in my rice and beans video was brown or dried gravies, and if you look, there's a bulk thing of brown gravy back there. Instant coffee, whether you're a coffee drinker or not, save some coffee. Coffee can be a morale booster for a lot of people. So again, if you're doing a neighborhood watch, you're doing security, things like that, you may not drink coffee, but I've got some coffee on hand for people that may drink it. And again, it can be traded later or something. If you didn't want it and somebody else did, you could trade it off. Speaking of milk, if you look up here to the left is the beans that I had showed in the earlier video. In the middle is actually dry milk. It's powdered milk. And then over here is some rice that I showed earlier. One of the things I do, guys, if these came in different packages and I took them off, and I know this is dry milk, on one of the bottles here, if this took, I think it took 4 bottles, maybe a little more than 4 bottles from the breaking it down, it took 4 bottles of to package it all. But on one of the bottles, I just simply tore off the directions here and taped it to the bottle. And obviously all dry milk, I know it's the same, so I can just keep this bottle and know what to do as far as mixing it. So that, if you're bulk storing and you need some directions, just cut it out and tape it on there and use that. But anyway, guys, I just kind of wanted to briefly go over a few things with you as far as foods. I know this is talked a lot about in the prepping type channels, but I think it's very important to discuss it and kind of get a perspective from a lot of different people. And one of the questions is, how much food do I need and how long should I store? How much should I store and things like that. My short answer is 30 days, because usually most situations are going to be, pretty well resolved within 30 days, but you never know what the future holds. When we talk about certain disasters such as a EMP strike or something like that, either natural or man-made, the professionals tell us that you're looking that could literally take 2 or 3 years to recover from. So again, that's a tough plan for anybody if you don't know how to, grow foods and things like that. So, but 30 days is going to be the window I recommend for everybody, is to have 30 days of food that you really don't touch or use, that's on hand at any given time. Most people, depends on your lifestyle. I have a wife and family, so we usually, keep a pantry pretty well stocked of food. And so even with that, I probably at least, if we stretched everything out as far as we could stretch it, I probably at least got 30 days of food just in my pantry that we rotate through. Now, some of it would go stale because it's a bag of cookies or something, but in general, we usually keep about 30 days of food just in the pantry, not counting what we store for prepping. So that's a little different, but 30 days, and again, learn some skills, learn how to possibly can your own foods, dehydrate your own foods, things like that. So that'll help you with storing what you want, maybe a little better, healthier option, because you know where it came from, doesn't have the preservatives, things like that you can do. Learn how to grow your own gardens, and at least gain the knowledge through having the knowledge on hand to be able to learn it. And gardening, I grew up gardening as a child. My family always had gardens, and we canned and had a root cellar and things like that growing up, because I grew up in the country. So not everybody has that luxury to learn that. So at least have the knowledge on hand through some type of books and stuff like that you'll need, and later, so you can kind of learn from other people, learn from YouTube like I do. I mean, I learn a lot of skills, a lot of things, whether it be to fix something on my car or whatever, through YouTube. Start gathering that information. Your brain is a sponge. It'll start absorbing that information, and again, have books and stuff on hand to refresh yourself and do that. Hands-on experience is the best, but a lot of times people just don't have time, and I understand that. When the crap hits the fan, you can't get to work and you can't do things, you have a lot of time on your hands, but the grid may be down, so you just can't go to YouTube and figure out things. So you're going to have it in written form where you can go back and look at it. But anyway, guys, appreciate you tuning in. If you got any questions, post those below. If you got any experience that you want to share with us, be sure to do that and discuss what you're prepping. Matter of fact, the guy that had mentioned the gravies, I'd actually, didn't mention it before when I think it was in my spice video. I did one on storing spices and herbs, and he mentioned brown gravies or gravies and dried gravies in general, and I told him I'd do that already. And so it's just, sharing that information, and people go, oh yeah, brown gravy, or, storing this, or instant coffee, or whatever. That's what helps people learn, and that's what this channel is about. But anyway, guys, if you like our videos, give us that thumbs up. That's always helpful. It helps two ways. It helps us let us know that you like our videos. It also helps with the way YouTube shares our content through their system, and the more likes we get, the more it helps us with them, because they say, hey, that guy's doing good videos, so let's do the let's share his videos over in the recommended section and things like that. So anyway, it just helps us, and it's always greatly appreciated. Let us know we're doing a good job. I appreciate you guys tuning in today. If you would, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll bring you another video shortly. Have a great day, guys.